Hi, it's Ryan from ADHD Dude. I hope you're well. Today I wanted to talk to you about teaching social expectations around tolerating boredom. But before that, I just wanted to address one other thing real quick. I am very grateful that I get emails on a daily basis from people around the country asking me, do you know somebody in my area who does what you do? Or do you know somebody who works with boys the way you do? Or do you know a camp like yours in my area? And my answer is always no, I don't. And here's the reason why. The things that I'm trained in, I had to go and seek out on my own. So the things that I use on a daily basis, such as social thinking and the executive functioning strategies and cognitive behavior therapy for kids, those are things that I sought out because I knew that these would be helpful to the population of kids I work with. They're not something that you can go in and enroll in a course and do somewhere where you get like a package deal or anything like that. So I really had to seek them out on my own. The other piece is, I am a licensed clinical social worker. However, except for cognitive behavior therapy, I really don't use anything from the mental health field except for that. The other things I use come from the speech language pathology field. So my training is kind of this different mix than most people. And again, I put this together because I knew what would be most practical, for the kids who I work with. So all that being said, I wish I knew people around the country who do what I do. I do know some speech language pathologists who've done the same training I have, but I really don't know people in the mental health field who have. All right. Moving on, I want to talk about tolerating boredom. So kids with ADHD often have difficulty tolerating boredom. The reason they have difficulty tolerating boredom is for two reasons. Number one, they often cannot conceptualize time. So that's often referred to as time blindness. So for instance, kids with ADHD might think that something that's not interesting to them that is 5 minutes is an hour. Or something that is, boring to them that is a half hour feels like 5 hours. So that's the first reason. The second reason is because they lack self-directed talk, the ability to kind of talk themselves through things that are boring or difficult. So what we have to do is besides teaching how to conceptualize time, and learning how to use self-directed talk, one of the things we have to teach is social expectations around tolerating boredom. And the way that starts is by acknowledging and letting kids know you are going to be bored sometimes. And boredom is a part of life. It's a daily part of life, really, for most people. And that's okay. And what matters is that we do what's expected when we're bored, because if we do what's unexpected, people are going to have uncomfortable thoughts about us. And right now I'm using the expected and unexpected. That's social thinking terminology. And the idea with it is to help teach perspective taking. So let me give you an example. So my son, is one who has difficulty, had and still has as a young adult, has difficulty tolerating boredom. So one of the things whenever we would go food shopping, I have a little obsession, I'm going to admit it here, I have an obsession with looking at packaging of food. So what should be, a half an hour trip to the supermarket could take an hour and 15 minutes. So often when I would go to the supermarket with my son, he would start whining and complaining. So one of the things, I had to learn to do was say, so we're going to the supermarket. We're going to be there for a half hour. And during that time, here's what you're supposed to look like. You're supposed to be walking around. If I ask you to get something, to please go get it. Okay? You're supposed to have a calm voice. And what you're not supposed to look like is you're not supposed to be whining, you're not supposed to be complaining, because if you do that in the supermarket at your age, people are going to have uncomfortable thoughts about you because they're not expecting somebody your age to do that. And again, it's okay if you feel bored. That's a natural part of life, and you need to use your inner coach to help talk yourself through the boredom and let yourself know that it's going to be over soon. Okay, so notice that I use the term inner coach. That is to help, reinforce that concept of self-directed talk, that you can talk yourself through boredom. Okay. The other thing with boredom that we have to teach kids is that, when you're bored, that doesn't mean that you always need to have access to a smartphone. So what I'm going to encourage you to do is that if you're in the supermarket or somewhere that's not going to be for a long time, don't give your kids, your phone to play on and play games on. just so you can like kind of keep them quiet. Because if you do that, they're not learning how to tolerate boredom. One of the things I've started telling families I work with is that for any car trips, under 20 minutes or under 30 minutes, depending on the age, I say don't let the kids have a tablet or their phone or whatever, okay, and engage in conversation. And that does two things. One, it helps tolerate boredom, but it also helps to, improve reciprocal conversations because, many kids today, and this is really concerns me, that the amount of time kids are allowed to spend in front of screens at school concerns me in terms of their ability to engage with others. Now, I don't have any data to back that up, but I can tell you I speak to a lot of kids in middle school who are allowed to have their phones out during lunch, which drives me crazy. So teaching how to tolerate boredom is a life skill that everybody needs. So we have to teach how to conceptualize time. We have to teach how to use self-directed talk or your inner coach to get through boredom. And we have to teach social expectations around boredom to help kids learn how to self-regulate themselves, okay, through the boring moments in life. I hope this is helpful. Feel free to leave any questions or comments below, and I will speak to you soon. Take care. Bye-bye.